What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol GDRX for Goodrx Holdings. These are the guys you hear on Spotify all the time advertising. On the left-hand side, we're looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First thing to point out is that these guys do experience some decent volatility here on their earnings announcement, the most recent one anyways, so keep in mind ranges here and expansion of range is rather elevated, right? If we just look at the 30-minute perspective, this day here, absolutely crazy run, followed up with another one, crazy sell-off. So volatility is high. Please be aware of that if you do decide to trade this. Mapping out obvious areas of daily support and resistance. I think it's interesting that this prior support here certainly acted as resistance most recently. So that should be on your charts, 36.82. After that, to the upside, we're looking at this area in here, 39 the whole dollar, and then certainly after that, this double top right around 41.31. I would also argue maybe something intermediate there around 40 the whole dollar, but we're not just going to place a level every single dollar, right? So maybe that's on the radar, but until we actually get up into it, we'll see what happens, right? For now, underneath us, what are we looking at as support? Well, certainly here, this prior pivot as resistance should offer some support. You can see that's been the case on today's session. And then underneath that, we'll of course go from the low of this large breakout candle to the upside. Shifting the focus over to the 30-minute, did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? I would argue it's pretty correct for now, but what I want to do is break out the Fibonacci's just to analyze this move here that we've seen from earnings. So going from low all the way up to the high, where's the 38.2 right here, the first blue line? That's what we ideally would have seen hold, but given the large expansion of range here, it's not unreasonable to think that it's going to pull back more than the 38.2. So the fact that we are holding on to, though, the 61.8 strikes me as relatively bullish. The fact that we pulled back into it and fought back through the 50 has really done nothing in terms of support or resistance. That strikes me as bullish, right? Usually half back of a given range like this, an obvious range, is going to offer some reaction. So the fact that sellers could not hold it underneath and buyers sliced right back up through it strikes me as relatively bullish. Again, the fact that we're also consolidating and now getting price acceptance above the 38.2, another feather in the cap for the bulls. So as it sits right now, the trade I would be watching out for is the long up and out of this small period of consolidation that we've put in. That's going to be over the 35 whole dollar to retarget the highs up in here. I'd say 36.82 is the number to pay attention to, with a bump in the road here at 35.50, simply as those upper wicks would imply. Sellers did step up there in the past, but again, really just a bump in the road, really looking for the move back up towards the most recent highs. The line in the sand to the downside is the support portion of this little range. So if we just put a level to that instead of using the fib, that's going to be at 34.33. So removing this now, we know that it's healthy in terms of pullback. We know that it's healthy in terms of recapture. Your over and under levels are simply 35 and 34.33. If we do this, you're looking for the breakout here. If we do this, you're looking for the move back down into 33 the whole dollar. Is this even shortable? We'll check in on the trade tab, and yes, it is. Easy to borrow shares, and the put volume is horrendous though, right? So good open interest in the multiple five figures there. Excuse me, yes, five figures, but nothing here in terms of actual volume going through. So I would kind of avoid it with puts, rather just go with the shares, considering it is easy to borrow here in GDRX. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.